Captain's Log, Day 2649. The journey seems endless. I'm not sure where we're going or what we'll find or even if we'll figure out what we're looking for. Today, the search for a playable Grixis deck continues. We're heading out with some Grixis in Historic this morning. It's about that time of the season, chat, you know? We've got, it's Grixis Day. So we try this every season. We're usually disappointed every season. Yeah, so anyways, there's a lot of ways to build Grixis and be disappointed by it. In previous seasons, the way I had always liked building this archetype the best was being a little bit more proactive and tap out control style, and we gained some decent tools in helping push us in that direction in the most recent sets. So Mystical Archives, notably, you'll see we've got two different Mystical Archives here. So Inquisition of Kozilek, something that's been in discussion a lot is when do you want Inquisition of Kozilek versus when do you want Thoughtseize? And I think a slightly more controlling deck like this that doesn't have access to life gain is a great example of when I would want to prioritize having Inquisition of Kozilek in my main deck as opposed to Thoughtseize. So Inquisition, while it has a little bit more narrow range of what it can take, it notably doesn't hurt us. And Grixis, generally speaking from my experience, struggles with the aggressive and more proactive decks a lot more than it struggles with the controlling decks in the format. So by starting our discard split, Inquisition and Thoughtseize here in the main deck like this, we hedge those aggressive matchups a little bit. Another really sweet card we got is Crux of Fate in the Mystical Archives. So destroy all dragons or all non-dragon creatures. So one, Grixis lacked in Historic a kind of kill everything card. You know, there's no damnation in this format. You are choosing between like Ritual of Soot and Languish and Shadow's Verdict, and you basically had your choice of different sweepers, but all of them left some amount of things behind, and Crux of Fate cleans out most everything. And notably, the things that this is missing, non-dragon creatures, Nicol Bolas the Ravager is a fantastic threat in this format, in this archetype, and notably you can curve Nicol Bolas the Ravager into Crux of Fate on 4 and 5. Because we're playing Crux of Fate as our sweeper of choice, I'm also playing some Glorybringer here at the top end of our curve, again kind of leaning into that little bit more proactive game plan where you can go like Nick on 4 into Glorybringer on 5 and like have some actual real pressure in the air to close games out. Got a couple of Planeswalkers here for some card advantage, some pieces of spot removal to be interactive, some Bonecrusher Giants because Eldraine cards. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this red, black, splash blue, or Grixis deck. So I titled it mid-range. You could call it control. I think it's kind of splitting hairs, which this is a more controlling slanted mid-range deck. I feel about Mindstone with Nicol Bolas being heavy on the mana symbols. Yeah, I think it's still good. So that's something I'm going to want to... I didn't mention that in the deck tech, but I think that's something to think about too. We've got a number of 4s, and like even getting to Crux of Fate ahead of turn, I think is valuable in a lot of spots. So my estimate is the Mind Stones will be good. Bottom a Blood Crypt here. Show me what you're working with. Alright, so solve the equation and weird lands would imply that they are, would imply that they're the Tainted Pact deck that's been going around. We're actually going to play some of this Tainted Pact combo deck later today, I believe. Depending on what Hoaglandia's whales have to say about it. I definitely think the cycling on Mindstone is worth more than the color you get from Cold Steel Heart. So like I've got 26 lands in this deck already, and you have to remember like ramp sources like that are basically lands if you can't cycle them. So if you play something like Cold Steel Heart in this deck to accelerate, you're basically at 28 mana sources that are only mana sources, which means you're going to flood out a pretty significant amount of the time. And I don't think like Mind Stone not playing well with like R2 of is a reason to not play it. Like I have two Nicol Bolas, like a third in the sideboard. The national animal of Hoaglandia is the golden whale. Of course it's the golden whale. I think our opponent drew the nuts and we're dead, chat. So, for people not familiar with their deck, even if... Wait, Baleful Mastery completely gets them, doesn't it? Yeah, either... Let's see if they play around Baleful Mastery. Oh, Prismari Command as well. Yeah, actually, we've got a ton of interaction. So, what they do is, their deck is also... If they leave one card on top, Prismari Command kills them. And if they go to... Like, either of these cards beat them. Nice combo. Yeah, so what this does is, their deck is all singletons, except for 2 copies of Tainted Pact and 2 copies of Thassa's Oracle. So they can deck themselves in response to this Thassa's Oracle trigger. But then I can make them draw with either of these. Why doesn't it auto-mill the whole deck? It's about to in a second. So if you run your timer down while this is on the stack, the arena auto-exiles the deck for you. So now their timer ran out, so it's going to exile their whole deck, and then they'll lose to one of these. Nice combo deck. And then, because, you know, nice arena, am I going to have a chance to make them draw here, or is my timer going to run out? Alright, so Thoughtseize in, Negate in. Oh, this is a Bolt Dragon God matchup. Crux of Fate out. Baleful Mastery's definitely staying in. Bloodchief's Thirst comes out. I guess we bring in the extra Dragon God. Because, like, when they're not comboing us, they're basically a Grixis control deck. Our timer was running since the entire thing already happened in the back end and we had priority. Man, what an awful interface system. Well, the card we'd be putting back in their deck's a permanent whack, and then that card would immediately come back into play. Do they have another way to win? They technically have like a fair game plan. I mean, we don't need a skip animation button. We just need the animations to not take rope and not take from your timer. Like the solution isn't get rid of the animations. Morning, Gaffer. Are you up in Canada, Gaffer? I heard things were spiking there. Australia. Man, I feel like you had to have messed up to, like, live in an island country and have things get bad again. Western Australia. I feel like New Zealand and Australia, it felt like it was busted to live in one of those two places during all this. We'll see if we get turn 4 comboed again. Not gonna have counterplay against the turn 4 combo this time. This hand's a little bit loose, but I feel like turn 3/4/4 is one of our better chances to win the game without punking them out. Hey, Charles, thanks for the tip. Well, we're getting turn 4 comboed again with no counterplay. I'm sorry to hear that, Charles. Charles shared that their mother is an anti-vaxxer, racist, right-wing brainwash. Listen, I understand your position. It's not a fun one to be in. Thanks for the follow, Morgan and Prime. The opponent's deck is really good when you draw your 2 ofs together every game without any tutoring. Seems strong. Hey, Frigley. Morning, good morning. Seems pretty good, right? We get to play second Thoughtseize, then Bonecrusher Giant. It's a little scary. Morning, Cryptic. Right, it's good to grab that, and then we're just hoping for any untapped land next turn. Any untapped land in our deck lets us jam the Dragon God here.
Focused and decided just the trick for this.
The immortal Nicol. Perish. Outsmarted you eons ago.
Yeah, gotta search up a removal spell here. I guess I could just search up a Nicol Bolas of my own, too. I'm at 7 mana. Is that greedy? Oh, I could grab Chandra? Oh, I tapped off of red. Man, I'm dumb. Chandra was the correct answer. I think this is the play. Oh, no, this is wrong. I gave them Wishclaw back. They're about to search a removal spell, kill my Bolas, and then kill my other Bolas. Yeah, so I shouldn't have tapped off my red, and I should have... Glorybringer can't kill dragons. Yeah, this is a huge mistake with the Wishclaw. I wasn't thinking about the Wishclaw. Like, we were using the Wishclaw, and I wasn't thinking about them getting it back. Yeah, if we lose this game, I deserve it. If this had been a Chandra, we'd have killed this, and then we would have had Chandra and Bolas going. It's not too smart, I just wasn't thinking about it. They had Heartless Act in. But they would have had the combo. Yeah, they wouldn't have had a 5th land, though. Wow, they didn't have a way to kill this. That's huge. Actually, do I block here? Or do I plan to flip this over? I have the land, right? I think I'm just supposed to trade. I think I need to send this up, so that way I can burn my opponent out of resources here.
I will return one day.
Punished. Yeah, I wanted to tick up with this, though, was the thing. Zippy Zappy the Bapper, thanks for the 12 months. Welcome back. Hopefully they don't kill us next turn. Well, I mean, all things considered. Yeah, I mean, it kills the shark. And let's just keep going. For fuck's sake. Man, just can't beat those top decks. My opponent's super lucky. They had the combo on turn 4, games 1 and game 2. We had counterplay in one of them at least. And then just, like, shark into this game. If I would have been greedier... If I would have been greedier with my block, I'd have won this game. I should have let my 5-mana Nick die and then flipped the other one over. It's a good draw. Actually, just mono fire top decks. Brutal. Yeah, gotta get better RNG there. Opponent drew 0 extra cards, 0 card selection, just shark into snake into counterspell. We drew like 3 extra cards off of our cantrip and our castle and drew a bunch of lands. Not really a whole lot to learn from that one. Be luckier. I can't trip this and try and hit a land drop here. We're not playing the previous opponent was playing a combo, Alec.
In exchange for eternal
We are not playing a combo deck.
You have no other time, Planeswalker.
What's going on, Spartan? Hype to Death, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. Yeah, I've seen a few people playing the red-white deck to good success. I'm glad folks are enjoying it.
Fire, huh? Time to toast your marshmallows. S'mores, anyone?
I'm playing Chaos Warp because Grixis can't take enchantments off the table.
Today's my lucky day.
Game 3 versus the Tainted Pack deck, we drew 3 lands and 4 cards. They drew running bomb spells, Shark Typhoon into Lock Mirror Serpent into counter spell for my answer for Lock Mirror Serpent. And then black get enchantment removal? Yeah, it's not good though. It doesn't remove Clothis. It does remove Clothis, right? Farika's Libation is sacrifice an enchantment. Morning, cheese. Teamer Flash is great. Pretty good one too. Probably not enough to get through what we have going on here, but
Yup, you're going down.
okay, so we're playing like black-white fair stuff. This is a matchup where we board out our discard spells, just bring in a bunch of cards that play to the board. Usually what you want to do here. You don't want to be in a position in the mid to late game where you're like looking for a card to stop a card from killing you and like draw a discard spell. Eskimo Force, thanks for the follow. Good morning. think holding up Heartless Act here is value. I'd rather get my tap plans down. Arena's a little scary. Some real card advantage. Hopefully our dragons will be able to pressure them a little bit and punish the fact they're using their life total as a resource here. Dealer's choice Doomblades. Nah, I think actual Doomblade's worse than the other pieces of removal Thorbrid. I think you generally speak, you'd rather be playing like Heartless Act or Baleful Mastery or Cast Down. Like, this is like a premier deck that would want Doomblade if it was playable, and like there's just too many miscellaneous black creatures in the format. Doomblade has a chance to like draw completely dead in matchups. Speaking of, feels like they have a Doomblade here. Vanishing Verse. Yeah, getting punished for not just killing this. This gains some life. A fair deck in a card game means there isn't a combo kill in your deck. Yes, it is $100 to get something played today, Seth. Everything in the queue has been added with a $50 donation. If you want to cut in above them, you got to double it up. Do you count 7 bolts as a combo kill? I do not. Third shift worker and mainly YouTube watcher. This sword is scary. Can I get a timeout instead? I be not saying. God bless. Of course. Alright, chat. 3 more turns. 3 more turns. And I assume they can kill Nikki B here. Hey, Eskimo Force, thanks for the Prime support. There's a ton of great people who can send that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it this way this month.
Not too involved with locals.
A link to the new monitor I got, not offhand. It was literally just the cheapest 27-inch 1440p screen I could find on Amazon. Just for reference. Like, people kept telling me I would appreciate fancy monitor features, and there were a bunch of people in chat who were certain that I would be able to tell the difference between 60 hertz and these new 144 hertz monitor. Actually can't tell the difference. Tone Machine, thanks for the follow. All good, my man. I've been watching your YouTube content for a while and thought I'd drop what I could. I appreciate it. Wouldn't be here without folks like you. Death by Phyrexian Arena. So, no joke, Lampton. No joke, Lampton. I'm just gonna show you. In a second, when we're waiting for the server. As I was thinking about this last night. I want to try a couple of Savvy Triumphs too. I think Conti's probably really good in here. I think I'm playing Dead Guy Ale in the 5K tomorrow. And I think Ganji's a great choice there. Hey, Nannerjack, thanks for the tier 2, and thanks for the 34 months. Welcome back. Sir Elks. Good morning, good morning. I mean, we're playing Dead Guy Ale today. It does not. Chad, I'm a professional. I don't need to play a deck anymore. I don't need to play a deck more to decide I want to play in a tournament. I'm not going to Bloodchief Thirst this because their deck plays 1/3s, and I have 2 DL2s to kill this. You know, honestly, I don't even know that Dark Confidant is better than Glint Sleeve Siphoner in that deck that we're playing. Like, Glint Sleeve having Menace and Glint Sleeve not hammering your life total are both very good. Bob hurts, chat. Like, Bob is a painful card. So, to answer your question, I think Dark Confidant would be fine in Historic. That's why you should draw lands off of Bob. Earlier this week, I made it up to rank 345 on Mythic, and have not played since, and have dropped down to 695. Okay, you're definitely, yeah, 345 was not enough with over a week out. I would have told you if you would have asked that you needed to play more. Especially right after set release. The latter is more volatile after set release because people are playing more because new cards are sweet. Have you ever flipped a Grizzlebrand to Bob? I've heard that really hurts. So, no joke, Wannabe Beetle. The Legacy tournament that I top-baited with Dead Guy Ale back in 2012, I had 2 copies of Tombstalker in my 4 Dark Confidant deck. Because my balls are huge. We ain't scared. There ain't fear in my dojo. Live by the Bob, die by the Bob. Exactly. How many times did you flip Tombstalker to Bob? If I recall, I flipped Tombstalker to Bob 3 times in that tournament, and I won every game that I did it in. Alright, so we're gonna do this during their upkeep. We'll deal 2 and then I'll draw discard. Filling my graveyard up extra isn't great. Oh wait, if they put extra cards in my bin with this discard, no, this only goes up to 2 toughness, right? Yeah, this is fine. Well, so this is like Legacy circa a decade ago. So like my Tombstalker Dark Confidant deck also got to play Sensei's Dividing Top for the record. So like it wasn't just complete like I'm a madman. Like we had a plan, chat. I'm not gonna say it was like a good plan, but like the plan existed. Mean deck Cling to Dust here, looking pretty good in the Rogues matchup. No extra threats here is real good for us. You never played with Top is busted, everybody says. It's not so much that Top is busted as it's just like tedious to play against. Was this a good draw? If so, why? Please explain. I need decent Esper lists in Historic right now. Gabriel Nassif had played a little bit of Esper. He's like the control master. I'll do it again, I swear. Stuffing rogues in a box. Oh, and look at that. We just emptied our graveyard to make their Into the Story worse, too. Main deck Cling is really good, chat. This is a phenomenal card in this format. I think this is an all Doomblades on deck matchup. Oh, do I want these extra sweepers is a real question, though. I guess exiling their stuff is... This hits everything Crux of Fate does, right? And exiling is good? It's been good, Spaceman. Does Dead Guy want copies of Cling? I don't think so, because Dead Guy wants to play copies of, Rest in Peace. And those two are kind of at odds with each other. Probably don't want Thoughtseize against the aggressive deck, but Inquisition to disrupt their counterspells a little bit sounds good. This is probably a little clunky. I think decks like what we're playing are super reasonable. Which ones am I enjoying at the moment? So I actually just posted I posted a tweet last night of games. So obviously we're in lockdown still. So most of the board games we've been playing are games that we play with the kids. There's a tweet of these aren't kids games, but they're just good board games that we also happen to be able to play with our 5 and 7-year-old. Every blue-white deck Gabriel Nassif has ever played is a scam. If your name isn't Gabriel Nassif, you probably shouldn't play Gabriel Nassif's decks. He is much better at playing control decks than you are. Listen, when you watch Gabriel Nassif play a deck, you should assume you are going to win like probably 20 to 30% less games than he is with that deck. So unless he's at like a 70 to 80% win rate, you probably shouldn't attempt it at home. And honestly, that's why I'm like the everyman's man, right, chat? I am here playing terrible decks, playing them at a mediocre skill level. Why would someone want to watch someone like me play Magic? So they can feel at home, chat, and feel better about themselves. I think we just take their threats, right? I could just be the Inquisition and keep them out of my hand. It's just the Inquisition. Actually, I'm just going to keep them out of my hand. I'll lose these. Ever played against these? I have not. When I played Paper Magic, I played on the SCG tour, and Gabriel Nassif is from Europe, so he never played in those tournaments. We are lacking a blue source currently. If we don't draw blue, we're gonna die pretty quick. Stark's Rule, thanks for the follow. You know what Gale means, but how did it get its name? It's an old deck from forever ago when we used to name magic decks in stupid ways. Thanks for the quarter of your Patreon. Blue source. Hey, the good news is any land draw next turn gets us to Glorybringer. Yeah, like Panza. Oh yeah, that's true. I do have 3 cycle lands in my deck that aren't untapped. They, like, definitely have a counterspell here, right? So I think we pass here and burn their mana. Well, like, if they lapse us here, they hit us for 4 down to 4, and then I get to bang the Thieves Guild Enforcer, right? And maybe we're not just dead. And if they don't have a counterspell here, we're in a fine spot. The fact that they're brainstorming in response before their draw step implies they don't have it. Because if they had it, they wouldn't brainstorm during their upkeep. Jeff conned people into playing Kiki Chord during Eldrazi Winter, which shows how gullible Magic players are. You're not wrong. The greatest scam I ever ran was getting people to play Kiki Chord at a Pro Tour during Eldrazi Winter. Those poor dumb saps. Mill me, baby. Yep. I think I won. Honestly, it might have been right to redraw the Chandra. I guess she would have just gotten lapsed. And this is why Rogues is busted, chat. You like kind of are one-for-oneing with them, and then they cast Into the Story and you get buried in the ground. By the way, because I haven't seen people using it for the stream title, if you're not on my YouTube channel or didn't see it last night, I posted a short top 5 cards from in Strixhaven from Historic. So if you're someone that is careful with your wild cards, you're not a large sea mammal like myself, and you're wondering which rares are best to spend your wild cards on, that's a great, it's like 4 minutes, really quick short video. I'm just surprised it wasn't Elite Spellbinder 5 times, God bless. Hey, well, I've got Bonecrusher to kill Luris, and I've got Glorybringer to bang something else off the board. Well, I mean, like, and that's why the Gruul deck is good in full effect. Like, the Gruul deck just has hands that just beat things. Like, most things die to Gruul putting 10 power into play turn 2. We are up a game here too, so like if Rogues ekes out from under our dragons here, we get a game 3 on the play. I think we just chill. I guess I'm winning that race if I attack. And maybe I'm supposed to attack because of something like Into the Story. I think the top decks in Historic right now are Gruul, Rogues, and Gruul, Rogues, and Auras are the top 3 at the moment. Until someone else steps up to prove otherwise. I'm happy with how he boarded. Maybe, I don't think I want these against Aether Ghosts and stuff. They're just too expensive. Morning, Rex. Did Jund fall from grace? Yeah, the Jund food deck has been pushed out for the most part. I think Jund Company is still competitive, but the food deck is a slow, interactive deck that tries to play to the board. And Strixhaven introduced a lot of spell-based combo to the format, which is very good against the food build. So the company version of Cat Oven can race the combo decks on occasion, but the food deck is just too slow. A player agency point of view, how does the Rogues deck feel? The Rogues deck doesn't give the opposing player a lot of player agency. Generally speaking, Rogues is very toxic to play against. It's a prime example of a deck that's so interactive, none of your decisions matter in a lot of the games. And actually, personally, I'd much rather play against Jund Food than Rogues. I mean, Thorbrand, again, like, that's nuts as well. That deck does not deserve to get lumped in with the decks that have proven themselves in tournaments. And that always happens in formats like this, where I talk about, like, okay, these decks are good, and then people are like, well, what about this other deck that streamer Y played 12 games with and they won 10 of them? It's like, yeah, the streamer you watched is good at Magic, I get it. But, like, it's okay, chat. It's okay to like a deck and have it not be one of the best decks in the format. Okay? I promise you that it's okay to enjoy playing Magic with something not being the best deck in the format. Croaky's plays way more Magic than most people, and that means he's much better at it than most people. Croaky's will likely win most of his matches with regardless of what he plays. And again, one of the things about these non-rotating formats is that there are a ton of good options that you can play. Man, their hand is bad. That aren't the best deck in the format and still be competitive. Like that's a feature. It's not a bug. Make sure we leave up Heartless Act and Bonecrusher when we cast this. Like, is the Jund deck reasonable? Yeah, probably. There was a Jund Arcanist deck with Abundant Harvest that finished 10th. Mapamonte was playing it in the last Tokelandia Open. But is it, like, one of the top 3 decks in the format, like the other decks that have proven themselves? No, definitely not. Could it prove itself and become one of those top decks? Definitely. People are always so desperate for that validation of like, oh, is the thing I'm playing one of the best? And it's like, no, probably not, but that's okay, just enjoy it. Magic's a game you should play for fun. Mr. P, thanks for the 31 months, welcome back. I think if you want to play Colorless Ramp, you need to play the Black Splash. You need sweepers in the main, and you need discard spells in the board. I also think that that's an archetype that suffered a good deal with, the rise of spell-based combo decks in the Mystical anthologies or whatever. It's an archetype that fell off a bit. That deck largely was competitive based on the fact that it could prey on the food deck. And the food deck falling off definitely hurt that archetype a lot. No, I don't think the white splash is good for the reasons I just talked about. I think you need to be playing the black splash for discard spells. I think splashing double white is not something you don't splash double white. Double white isn't a splash. And then with this Drown in the Loch being their last card, they get to cast Into the Story now. Really unfortunate we missed our land drop last turn. Cling is very good here. Honestly, I might cling my Bonecrusher to gain 3 here. My hand's pretty stacked. I just need to survive. You know, maybe I'm supposed to lead on not Bonecrusher, so that way if they have a counter spell to start, I'm gonna exile their creature now, so that way they can't get it back with Luris. You know, maybe with these verdicts, I'm supposed to exile my Bonecrusher to escape there too. The red-white decks, I would estimate it's only bad matchups that are somewhat common are goblins and elves. And no, I don't think you can meaningfully fix those matchups. I think you just have to accept that they're bad. It's good against control. Yeah, it's fine against control. Thalia, and all the other what's it called? Dorkos are real good there. Elite Spellbinder, Chandras. You have a lot of cards that are excellent against control. What's in their hand? Aluris and some other cards. Maybe some more threats. Yeah, Redain's very good there too. I forgot about that one. You also play a Danto Vanguard in the main deck, so against blue-white control, you have extra play with that too. The problem here is I haven't drawn any of my dragons in the top half of my deck. I really need a way to like close the game out. Oh, fuck. Oh, well, that's the first time I've misclicked that one. Oh, I just let them target me too. Yeah, we're just a lot of slops here. I let them attack, and then they milled my Nicol Bolases. Just mono slops. Yeah, that really should have a "Are you sure?" warning, shouldn't it? No, I just double checked. I have warnings on. Get out of here. Cling to shove it to the rogues. Is our deck busted, chat? I feel like if we win this, in spite of me being a complete and total idiot, our deck has to be busted, right?
You wanna go, tough guy?
And we need to slow down. I misclicked the Chandra too. Yeah, Kling is like single-handedly picking this game up and carrying it on its back. Alright, let's draw a card this time.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
I'm supposed to hold on to this, actually. We'll hold on to this until we have a card we want to resolve. Read.
be a pile of ashes! This'll be easy.
Yeah, they can't tech this currently. Man, are we gonna win the game where I discarded a Crux of Fate to a misclick paying 5 mana? Holy crap. Man, talk about some slops. All right, let's retire. We peaked. It's not getting better from here. Grixis tech is perfect. Never not DM. Thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The chosen one. Yeah, Grixis confirmed best deck. That's true. Good decks do carry you through bad play. They pick you up on their back and they carry you across the finish line. Here there be dragons, chat. Made me sweat. What's going on, Bill? I'm feeling nervous. When did we hit Mythic? Yesterday. We played three good decks yesterday. We played Dead Guy Ale, Teamer Flash, and Mardu vehicles. All of which were great. The illusion of choice, chat. The illusion of choice. I think anybody who's already calling for bans in this format is unreasonable. We need to wait and see. Unbans though. Give me some unbans. Main decking 3 Clings in every black deck. Thanks for the 11 months, Chirp. I don't think that's unreasonable. Anything fair and interactive. Cling seems like a super reasonable card to be playing. You ready to Baleful Mastery this Tameo? I don't even think you need to ban Marauders to get Winota back. I think you can just give Winota back. But I played Civic Gates. Yeah, looks like probably taking turns, I imagine. Wow, they exiled Tameo.
Let your weak minds crumble.
Your weak minds crumble. Nope, if you're having audio distortion, refresh your Twitch page. That's a Twitch bug. I don't think we've actually had the arena audio bug since this latest patch.
Cannot protect itself. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
We won despite me trying my best to lose.
My schemes are never ending.
hand will not forsake you.
And if they have second Nissa plus a land tier, we're in trouble. Yeah, Cling to Dust picked up the last game and carried it on its back for us.
Let us have a story.
That's funny. I could have done that. I could have played Glorybringer, hit the land, and then +1. I don't know. I wanted the draw cards. I feel like taking resources away from them is more important. No, you have a small window where your streak still happens.
You have no weakness I cannot exploit.
Baleful Mastery looking much better than a lot of the alternatives here. This card's really powerful when it gets going. Its +1 is basically a 2-for-1 every turn. You get a card and they lose a card. Yeah, Uncontested Dragon God is just savage. Ends the game very quickly. Or puts it out of reach, I guess I should say. Yeah, 2 for 0, that's true. 2 for an activation. Oh yeah, I could have Chandra last turn, right? That's a good call. I should stop and count the manas. Yeah, I don't think it matters at this point, but it's good to... Listen. If you've been watching this channel for a while, I tricked you into playing all of these cards long ago, okay? This deck should be like a couple of Crux of Fates and some Inquisitions for you to craft, okay? Don't act like I didn't already con you into crafting these cards. This is the only card that's like kind of narrow in this deck. Like Inquisition's a good craft. And if you don't want to commit Mythic Wild cards to crafting Crux of Fates, you can just play Shadow's Verdicts. It's about the same. A little bit worse in some edge cases, but for the most part. Alright, we're gonna start with Thoughtseize, because if they have a spell, I want to take it with this and then make them get rid of a land.
You're going down.
It's important that I get back to Nicol Bolas here, because otherwise they're gonna get to do this next turn. If I Stone Rain them, they have to draw a land in order to memory. Memory's a way they can get back in this game.
In my image.
Oh, and actually, small mistake here. I probably should have finagled tapping to leave black up, so that way I could draw Cling. Jeff Hoagland scammed me into playing Kiki Cord, Blue Red Wizards, Grixis, Teamer Oko, Grixis again, and then Grixis a third time. It's true, you know. Good on, Moonshield. Thanks for the follow. Teamer Oko is a genuinely good deck. Had an Oko in it, chat. How bad could it be? Now I'm gonna level with all of you at home. Blue Red Wizards was a scam in Modern. That deck was never anything other than a scam, sorry. It was a sweet scam, but you were definitely scammed. Yeah, there be dragons. Alright, so Crux of Fate out, Thoughtseize in, Negate in, Chaos Warp in, Bolas in, Soulguide Lantern's probably. Soulguide Lantern's probably playable here, right? Maybe. Alright, what am I cutting? Torch of Defiance probably isn't very good here. She doesn't really play to the board. This is definitely the better card advantage. I don't think I want that much top end. I think I want to leave some ways to kill Planeswalkers in. Do I need Bonecrusher Giant as a way to apply pressure? Probably not. I can win on the back of dragons, right? Can we cut these? I'll cut those and win on the back of my dragons. Alright, I would like to draw lands for the first 3 turns, please. Morning, Duke. How do you address that Field of the Dead pushes out mid-range and control? Everything pushes out mid-range and control. Mid-range and control suck. I don't know. Field of the Dead doesn't really punish mid-range and control any more than the fact that there's like 800 combo decks in this format that you have to prepare for. I'd take their commit to memory, actually. We'll play Soulguide Lantern and get rid of it. They hid their best 2 cards here. Just play Stone. Yeah, they printed Stone Rain into the format. Field of the Dead's fine. I don't know. I had someone. So we were talking about this in the subs Discord the other day. Actually, people were like, "Well, you know, Field of the Dead was banned in Modern, so it should probably stay banned in Historic." And it's like, well, in Modern it had Primeval Titan. So like, again, that context is super key. And I'd assume a messed up card like Primeval Titan is going to stay out of this format. If they felt like printing Primeval Titan, that would be a reason to leave Field of the Dead gone. But unless they're going to print a messed up card like that, I think it's fine. Dispute's real rude. You can draw a random card instead of getting to Impulse. This technically helps them hit a land drop, but... No, Natterjack. I'm gonna draw a card here. Hitting land drops is important. Never underestimate Magic players' inability to understand that context is key, Flaming Swag. Hey, Big Mama, thanks for the 28 months. Welcome back. I don't think mid-range is all bad in this format. I don't know. And like a lot of the mid-range decks that you're playing, like I actually think like when they banned Field of the Dead in this format, for example, it was overstated the impact that it had on the format. And honestly, you know, things like what's it called? I'm blanking on it. Elite Spellbinder is a great tool that mid-range decks have that's good against Field of the Dead because Elite Spellbinder flies over zombies to apply pressure. Explorer resolves. Yeah, Dead Guy has a mid-range deck. For sure. This deck that we're playing is a mid-range deck. Alright, they spun their tires into something useful.
Behold, nature's true power.
Alright, untipped land tier is great. Lets me go kick Bloodchief's Thirst. Hold up Negate.
My strength fades.
I don't have a sweeper left in my deck. We really need a Nicol Bolas or a dragon here. A 4-mana Nick, I mean, or a Glorybringer. And our last card's a counterspell. Nope. We're taking 6 here. Orzhov Auras is an aggro deck. I don't know that it's fair to call Auras a linear aggro deck. The latest builds of Auras have have quite a bit of interaction in them. But definitely aggressive. I don't know. And at the end of the day, like, a lot of those definitions of, like, what's mid-range, what's aggro, what's control, they're mostly semantics. There aren't hard and fast, like, these, you check these boxes and suddenly you're a mid-range deck. Like, usually the lines blur. Like, when you define mid-range, for example, I usually describe mid-range decks as either being more controlling or more aggressively slanted. Like this deck, for example, I would describe as a controlling slanted mid-range deck. So like that context is relevant too. Okay, do you want these Bonecrushers? I think I want sweepers. Prismari Command doesn't really do a lot here, does it? Honestly, I think there's probably an argument to be made, you know, thinking on auras more. The latest iterations of auras that play like Deadweights and Myers Grasp and stuff in the main deck and Thoughtseize, you could probably classify those as mid-range decks. There's also like this asterisk of this is another, and this is, you know, card game jargon is weird. I think you could probably describe what those decks are doing as what I would call an engine deck. They're a deck that relies on a certain card to get going and charged up, basically. I'm actually gonna wait on this Thoughtseize for a turn since they're holding Brainstorm up. They might brainstorm anyways. Yeah, players love to brainstorm on one in this format for whatever reason. Isn't that a synergy deck by another name? Kinda. In my mind, a synergy deck, like, has lots of cards that have synergy with each other, whereas, like, an engine deck has one or two very specific cards that work with everything else. And again, like, a lot of that is semantics. So, like, Jeff, those are kind of the same thing, sure. Like, you're not wrong that they're kind of the same thing. There's technically, like, this little difference, but I also wouldn't argue with you that, yeah, it's mostly the same thing. Because, again, these definitions don't really have hard and fast definitions for them. There's not boxes you run down and check and say, this is a synergy deck, this is not, etc., etc., etc. Nicol Bolas, so nice, we'll draw it thrice. Speaking of silly fake things, Bitcoin had $500 billion wiped off of its overall value in the last week. Good. That stupid pyramid scheme. Ain't nobody got time to play around Mystic Dispute. Discard a card. Please explain how to use Brainstorm properly. I don't have enough time on my stream to do that right now. Maybe we'll make a video about that. We'll make some YouTube clickbait. Top 5 ways you're playing Brainstorm wrong. Top 5 lists are very good for YouTube clicks, chat. That's why we're gonna try and make some of those. Blind Ref, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Speaking of YouTube clickbait and top 5s, check out my top 5 cards from Strixhaven for Historic on YouTube now. Alright, they have this flipped over, but Bolas is applying some pressure here. It's a professional segue if I've ever heard one. God bless. I try. So, like, they have Azcanta and they have Time Warp, but they don't have enough mana to, like, Azcanta and Time Warp in the same turn, so, like, we're not just dead. Like, my opponent's gonna spin their tires here for a second, but they're not ending the game just yet. Now, when they Time Warp here, next turn they have a land and could Time Warp plus Azcanta. But again, this isn't Nexus of Fate, right? It doesn't shuffle itself back in. So, like, even if they hit another Time Warp or 2 off this Azcanta, they have a finite number of turns they could take before they have something like Quandrix Command to shuffle it back in. And then they need even more mana to Quandrix shuffle in, activate Azcanta, cast Time Warp, etc. I got Brazen Borrower here. Pausing like they might interact with my board.
No one can stand in my way.
I am Cameo. It is an honor to meet you. Let me aid your research.
Hey, Fonsetti, thanks for the 27 months. Welcome back. Now, I've got like over a dozen decklist submissions waiting to be played, chat. I'm not going to spend an hour doing the Mr. Beast thing. That would be an incredibly poor use of my time. Aldurin's Epiphany is bad for us here, because that would make birds that they could pressure my planeswalkers with. But if they don't have Aldurin's Epiphany, we're in a pretty okay spot. I guess Nissa's not great for us either. Nissa would let them kill this since I downticked it. And they have enough mana to Azcanta and cast this on the same turn. Yep, and now if they find a Time Warp, they kill my Bolas. Yeah, we could definitely lose here.
Thoughtfulness before action.
This locks me out of drawing cards with this too. Are either of these Time Warp or Nissa? The sleeve sweet. It's a good draw. Because now I was... Oh wait, shit. I don't have enough black mana. Well, I was gonna say now I can Thoughtseize before I jam this, but man, yeah, I guess we're doing this and then playing Creature Bolas, huh? Oh man, are they gonna hard cast a Shark Typhoon?
I'm not finished.
This was overwhelming.
Say a 4, 8, 9 mana. The person that said they wish they would have added Serum Vision instead of Brainstorm completely disagree. Brainstorm is a sweet iconic card. Serum, no one has ever in the history of Magic been excited to cast a Serum Visions. The card's just not very interesting. And like here, right? They get to like cast Time Warp. And Ponder and Preordain are much better than Brainstorm in Historic. So I'm glad that they gave us Brainstorm instead of Ponder or Preordain, because Ponder and Preordain are much better than Brainstorm in this format. What's going on, Lionheart? Thanks for the quarter viewer. Yeah, Brainstorm's a sweet card. It's great. I don't know that we beat that, Chip. I think I boarded my Chaos Warp out, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it's in the sideboard. But No, this is wrong. This is not my current sideboard. This is my starting sideboard. The sideboard doesn't update. Oh, man. What an application.
I have learned much from my ancestors.
All right, I drew a 4th black, so I could do this and then Nicol Bolas Dragon God.
God's once. I am what I am, Death's master.
Yeah, best of 1 features only. Okay, I mean, they can memory here and get a 6/6 and draw a bunch of cards. And that puts all their time warps back into their deck. But they can't cast the time warp this turn because they only have 9 mana. They need 11 to get so they can play a 10th land, but they need 11. They flipped Bolas and grabbed their Narset. Yeah, that was technically a line. Maybe that was good. That could have been good. Doing okay, Cynthia. Okay. This is lethal, right?
I would like to ask about any lunar anomalies you have.
We bang the 4/4, they block when they die.
I think you will find my
Nice.
notes helpful.
And this is why this slightly more proactive version of Grixis is one that I really like, because like when your opponent puts down a problem card that you can't answer, like Shark Typhoon, you get to have the ability to just attack them. Applying pressure is an out. Pest removal is player removal. Yeah, exactly. You know, all in all, this felt pretty reasonable. I felt like it worked out in practice exactly like I wanted it to in theory, which is that like we had discard spells for disruption, we had some decent interaction that placed the board, and then we had, you know, this pressure at the top end that was able to close games out when answering lots of things wasn't a good play. The Mind Stones felt pretty reasonable. I know it's a touch awkward that this makes colorless mana and it can't cast Nicol Bolas Dragon God, but this is only 2 cards out of a lot of top end. So like, the upside of this being able to cycle and draw a card is much higher than the upside of something like Cold Steel Heart making colors of mana for you. You know, if you look, we're already on 26 lands. So like, I want, you know, 5 of my 28 mana sources to be able to cycle or turn into something useful, so we're a little bit less likely to flood out in the mid to late game. I think if you are a little bit short on wildcards, you want to try this. I don't think Crux of Fate is 100% necessary. I think in a lot of instances, Crux of Fate and Shadow's Verdict are going to be a very similar card. So if you have these from Standard and you want to hold off on crafting these are fine. Hey, Knight, good luck in the rest of your laddering today.
Build of turns with Nissa looks pretty good. I had some medium decisions on my part. Glorybringer there really bailing us out on the last turn. All right, let's shift gears to the next